Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week I've been driving the 2025 Lexus UX300h. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline-4 as well as a hybrid system, and down below is an eCVT. Now I'm super excited to be making this video because I've spent the last week driving the UX. I've spent a different week last year with another UX, so I have a pretty good feeling about this car. And in the last several weeks, I've driven the new RX and the new NX, which are slotted just above the UX. So we'll see if the baby brother is on par with its older siblings. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month, as well as there's exclusive audio content. But let's get back to that 2-liter inline-4 as well as the hybrid system. Well, per Lexus's naming system, that H at the end signifies that this is a hybrid. However, unlike the NX and RX that we drove earlier this year, this is a standard hybrid, meaning no plugs, no wires, no anything. You don't have to charge it. You don't have to do anything besides drive it like you normally would. And that's a big perk of this car. Around town, in my week with it, I've been averaging 30 miles to the gallon, and that's been city driving. So, very good numbers out of a little hatchback like this, and I do mean that it is a little hatchback. Like I said, paired to it is an eCVT. It's fine, it does the job, and last but not least, this is all-wheel drive. However, you can find them in front-wheel drive towards the base model. So how does it feel to drive the Lexus UX300h? Well, that's actually one of its biggest upsides. It drives really nice, and I really enjoy the size of it because it does feel like a smaller hatchback rather than a big SUV, because it's just not a big SUV. The steering is tight and nimble, it's sporty enough with that 2-liter and hybrid system, and overall it's an enjoyable enough drive for this segment of car. Would I trade in a Mazda Miata and the Canyons for a vehicle like this? No, not quite, but that's not the demographic that this car is looking for, so it is fun to drive despite also being a luxury SUV. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I like it. It's fine. It's a little bit clustered. I've had this complaint about most other Lexus and Toyota products. It's just a little jumbled, a little hard to read at a glance, but you see your speed right away, and that's all you really need. To the left and right of the gauge cluster, we do have our traction control off button off to the left and our drive modes off to the right for sport, normal, and eco. These look like Shrek's ears. Lexus did this for a while, and they're starting to move away from this design. On the steering wheel, we get physical buttons. This is one of the last Lexus SUVs to still have physical buttons on the steering wheel, not the haptic stuff, and I love it, love it, love it. I hope it never goes away, but I know that it unfortunately will. Clean, simple, easy design that you can use even when you have gloves on, and you don't have to rely on the head-up display. Absolutely love these. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, as well as our gauge dimmer switch, trip odometer, information button, and way down below, we have our tailgate release and gas cap release. Moving on to the door, we have a physical handle, not a button, a handle. Love this. And down below, we have the power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do get our touchscreen infotainment display. This does accept wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and I enjoy it. It looks good, feels good, it's responsive, and the backup camera is pretty decent, especially for the price point of this car. We also get a physical volume knob. Love that. And down below, we have 2 climate control vents, hazard switch, and our physical climate controls. Again, this is going away in modern Lexus, so the UX is still holding on to this older way, but I think the older way is actually better. We get dual zone, fan speed, rear defrost with mirror defrost. I mean, really, really fantastic stuff here. Down below, we have 2 USB-Cs as well as a wireless charger and the cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the UX300h, and unfortunately it fails, but every other Lexus product has. Then we get the shifter off to the left. This is Lexus's modern style of shifter, debuted in the Prius several generations ago. Left and forward for reverse, left and back for drive, just left for neutral, and park is its own button. Then we do have buttons for EV mode and our auto holding brake. Love to see both of these as an option. And off to the right, we have our heated and ventilated seats, as well as our steering wheel heater. And you can set these to auto mode, which will detect the temperature outside. And if it's really hot, it'll turn on your cooler. If it's really cold, it'll turn on your heater. We do get a little center console with a 12-volt outlet and USB-A. And then we'll talk about the seats. The seats are heated, ventilated, and power. However, I can't seem to find if they're memory. If I find it, I will add it in a voiceover, but I just don't see the buttons. They have been very comfortable. I like them. I enjoy them. And I like that they are this light pop of color on the interior. I think it looks really good, especially with that exterior that we'll talk about here in a second. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so unfortunately I'm going to shove myself into the back, the Lexus UX300h. So we are in the back of the 2025 Lexus UX300h, and this is where you're going to really notice the difference between the RX and NX. Not only in the size of the drive, but this back seat is not good. I'm 5'11", not a small guy, but I don't fit back here very comfortably. If I put my knees together, they do hit the seat in front of me, but I could manage it back here. I could get by. I'm not going to throw a hissy fit for being put back here, but it's not very spacious. If you rely on your back seats, if you're using them day in, day out, you have kids, you have family members, you have friends that you drive around all the time, this is not going to be the vehicle for you. And I'll touch on it later. I would highly recommend maybe a Toyota RAV4 for about the same money or a little bit cheaper. I do have vents back here, not typical in a vehicle of this size, so that's nice, and 2 USB-Cs. We do get a center console with 2 cup holders in there. That is freezing cold because it's freezing cold outside. Not a winner in the back seat segment. Just not. But let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Lexus UX, little power tailgate. Something very nice to see. You don't often get that on this size of vehicle, is the power tailgate. So that is a big benefit of the UX. Once we do come back here, we can pull it up. We get a little bit more space underneath, but not a whole ton. And then it's very annoying to get the carpet back. There we go. So not a really deep load floor. You know, they actually have this issue as well with the current Corollas, which is interesting to see. We do have some hooks and whatnot, a little light on either side, and a 12-volt outlet. But that's pretty much it. Not a whole ton of cargo space. Now, we can come in here and put down the second row of seats. And as you can see, it actually needs a little bit of a ramp to come back down to be level with the rear seats. So kind of interesting there, but that is the cargo space of the UX300h. Now we got to talk about the looks, and the first thing that you'll notice is that this car is finished in copper crest, which I think is an absolutely lovely color. It's almost a rose gold. Fantastic. Lexus has been using it on a lot of their products recently, and this is just another fantastic showing. I also had a Lexus LC500 in copper crest, and woo, doggy! Look at these nighttime shots. I mean, this is just, it's a beautiful car, but the color itself is just jaw-dropping. So it's really nice that you can get that color here on the Lexus UX300h, a somewhat overlooked vehicle in Lexus's lineup. So nice to see that. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving and experiencing the Lexus UX300h for the last 7 days? Well, I enjoyed this car a lot. I was excited when this was put on my schedule from Lexus that I got to drive it around for another week. I drove one around last summer as well. I had a good experience then. I have a good experience now. I like the size of it, especially to peel back the curtain a little bit. I also had a Ram RHO loan this week, and so getting out of that truck during the day and hopping into this car at night, I felt like I was getting into an escape pod. It's just this like little tiny go-kart compared to that thing, and so I really enjoyed that. The dichotomy of these two vehicles has been nice. I like the size of it. For someone that doesn't have a family, I don't need the back seats. I don't need that much space. This car works really well. and I'm very, very appreciative of that. However, this is nearly $50,000. Of the RX NX UX, this is the most affordable, and it's the only one that comes in under $50,000. That's still a lot of money. So two things I want to touch on. First of all, of the lineup, RX, NX, UX, which one would I take home? Which one would I spend my money on? It's going to be the NX. It drives like the RX and has the features of the RX. However, it has a less intimidating price tag. I think it's a good middle ground. And so of these three vehicles, RX, NX, UX, I would buy the NX. But on the flip side, if I were in the market for a Lexus UX, this vehicle, what I would honestly do, I would buy a fully optioned out Toyota RAV4. It's going to be bigger. It's going to have good features. It might not have the Lexus badge or the Lexus attention to detail, but it's going to be a quality vehicle. You're going to have good options. And supposedly next year, they're going to unveil a brand new model of the RAV4. And then that would probably definitely be my pick. Just for the newer tech, you're going to get newer stuff where the UX just hasn't been redone in a little while. If you want to go outside of the Lexus Toyota group, the Mazda CX-5 absolutely maxed out is going to be about $45,000. That's still cheaper than this vehicle. You're going to have more space. You're going to have a bigger engine, although not the hybrid system. If you like this size, Toyota also offers the Corolla Cross, which I really enjoy that vehicle. It's not going to feel like a Lexus, but you're going to get that size and hybridization that you're looking for in this vehicle. So although this isn't a bad car, and I like it, I've always liked it, and I think I'll continue to like it, I think there are better options for the money. But you can't get a RAV4 in Copper Crest, and that might sell me, ladies and gentlemen. That is quite the hard bargain to drive. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Lexus for letting me borrow their UX300H for the last 7 days. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.